Hey guys, and welcome to this video about Terraform and how to use it with Azure. Uh, this is going to be a short video on how to get started or how to install, how to get started, and kind of what Azure, what Terraform is, right? So let's start with what is Terraform. Well, Terraform is an open source tool created by HashiCorp that allows you to provision, manage and provision infrastructure using code. So instead of manually configuring your servers, networks, and other resources, you can define them in a configuration file, and then Terraform will take care of creating and managing these resources for us, right? And there are several reasons to why we would want to use Terraform. The first is I would call it, I would say consistency, right? So you can define your infrastructure in code, and that way you will ensure that every time you spin up this environment, it will be the same. Now, there are different tools that you can use for this, for infrastructure as code. One is, ARM templates, the standard one, and then you have Azure Biceps. The reason why I like Terraform is because it's kind of a universal tool that works with AWS, it works with GCP, it works with most of the cloud providers, which is quite good. Now, and the second reason is automation, right? Especially in this DevOps era that we're in, automation is kind of king, right? So Terraform will automate the creation and management of resources that will save us time and reducing, well, manual errors, because we know that human errors are happens quite often, right? And then the third reason is version control. Having this code in a file, it's very easy to track changes to your infrastructure over time, and if you want, revert it, right, if needed, just like software code. And you can also have different or many people working together with you with this code, right? So, uh, kind of short of what Terraform is. We will talk a bit more about what Terraform is and how it works, but I'm thinking let's start with the installation part, and we'll take it from there. Now, to install Terraform, you will head over to this link over here. So it's developer.hashicorp.com and then /terraform and /install, right? From here, you can also remove this hashtag Windows. From here, you have the different steps. So if you're on Mac OS, you will follow these steps. If you're on Windows, you will follow these steps, and if you're on Linux, you will follow these steps. For me, I'm on a Windows machine, and I will use this AMD 64. I've already downloaded it, and we can actually do it again. I've uninstalled it for this video, so that you guys can see how to do it from scratch, from the get-go, right? So first download your flavor, and then from there we'll just go to our download page or our download thing. And now what we need to do is we need to extract this thingamajigger, right? So I can just double click here and we'll do extract all. So where do we want to extract it? And I will just extract it at C, and I will call it a Terraform. Terraform like this, and then we'll press extract. Now, from here we can press the exe. That's not quite it. After we've done that, we actually, in order for Terraform to work and to be able to use it with PowerShell or Bash or whatever, we need to also add it to our system variables. And the way to do that, we'll press here, and we'll do. You can just search system environment variables like so. You press that one, and from here, you will press environment variables. It's quite small, I see, maybe, but it's in the bottom. So you press environment variables here, and then you will go to path here, and then you will press new, like so. My bad. So what you want to do is you just want to double click this path. We'll double click this path, and here from here we'll press new. And what we want to do here is we want to add our path to wherever we extracted our thingamajigger, right? And I did it on C, and we'll go backslash, where's my backslash? And I called it Terraform, like so. Okay, and then we'll just press OK, and we'll press OK, and we'll press OK, like so. Now it should be all set up. Now, in order to see if it actually worked, what we want to do is we want to open our CLI or our PowerShell, I mean, And from here we can do Terraform dash dash version, and then it should give you whatever what version you have, right? So if you see this output, then you know you have successfully installed Terraform on your device, and we can get started with the next step. Now, to continue with this, we also have to download the Azure CLI, and I think I have the Azure CLI already installed as a Zeta login. Yeah, I did. So basically, you can download the CLI. I will just show you the link where to download it. One moment. So what you can do is you go to learn.microsoft.com, or just Google download Azure CLI, right? And then again, you choose whatever flavor suits your needs, right? I have it on Windows, so I'll just press this, and when you've installed it and followed the installation guide, whenever you're done, you just go back to your thingamajiggy and you press A and you write AZ login, and that will then open up this one. It will open up this one. There we go, like so, and then you will just log into your Azure account from here. I will pause this video for this. Perfect. Now that I have logged in, I can now continue, right? So now that we have Terraform installed, and now that we have the Azure CLI installed, we can actually go and we can actually let's open Visual Studio Code. I like to use Visual Studio Code for this. Now there are also some extensions that you can install to make your uh, that to make your life a bit easier with Terraform. But before that, we are going to create a new folder. So I'm gonna go open folder, and I will just put this in my on my desktop. I will create a new folder. I'll call it Terraform. From here, I will select this folder and I will open this folder right here. Now, from here, you could go to extensions here and you can do Terraform like so. And if you're new, uh, I kind of recommend to use this extension because it will help you with the syntax, and it will also give you like snippets of commonly used resources, and it can make your journey a bit easier. The thing is, I don't really like this way because I have this philosophy that you only learn if you actually type. Like there's no problem in you know looking at code and using that code, but I prefer you to type that code rather than to copy paste or just tab. So try to write as much code as possible because that's how kind of how your brain will register this, right? But from here you can do this. You can take this. I think it's this one, syntax highlighting and auto completion from Terraform. You can just press install like that. I'll also install it for this segment. All right. So from here, what we want to do is we want to create our main file. So we're going to create a new file. We're going to create a new file. We're going to call it main.tf like so. And you see it instantly gets this Terraform logo, right? Um, from here, we're going to write some code and just create a couple of resources. All right, so let's start by writing some code, right? So the first thing we're going to do is let me just try to make this window a bit smaller so I can see. Let's do like this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to specify what type of provider we're using. As I said at the beginning of this video, like you can use Terraform for quite a lot of providers, and we're going to use Azure, right? So we'll do provider like so. You see, I instantly get this code, right? And then we'll do the provider name. So it's going to be Azure ERM, I think. Let me just check. No, just double one like so. So you have Azure ERM, and then we have this thing called features, right? And this is a section to enable specific features of the provider. We don't need to put anything into it because Azure specific features are handled by the provider itself. So we're just gonna put features like so, and we're gonna leave it empty for now, right? Now, as you guys know that in Azure, you cannot do anything without a resource group. Like all the resources that you create in Azure has to go in in a resource group. So the first thing we will do in this code is we're going to create a resource group. So the way we do it is we type the keyword resource like you see how the how it just finishes all the code for me, this extension, which can be quite nice if you're new, but also I don't know, I feel it's kind of blocking the learning path, right? So be wary of this. So I'll just type it out myself. So we go resource like that. Did I spell resource correctly? Resource, yeah. And then we'll do Azure, Azure RM, which is basically the key name of Azure, right? And then we'll do resource group like that. So this is how to create a resource group. Then we're going to give this a name, and I will just call it example. This is not this name will not be the name of the resource group. It will just be the name of this resource, right? And then from here we'll do we'll do our curly brackets, and then we'll add the information we need. And in order to create a resource group in Azure, you need two things. The two things are mandatory, right? You need the name of the resource group, and you need location of the resource group. So we'll do name like so, and I'll do let's call it example resource like so, and then we'll do location, and we'll call it we'll do Sweden. And I'll just Sweden Central. I think that's how you spell it, right? So let's go through the different things, right? So this one, resource. Well, this block defines a resource you want to create. In this case, it's an Azure resource group, like so, right? And this here specifies the type of resource group, the type of resource, and it's an Azure resource group, right? And this is a name you give the resource in your Terraform configuration. It's a unique identifier used to reference this resource within Terraform. This will have nothing to do with Azure, like Azure will not be named example. This is for this file and for Terraform, right? And then we have these two things. Well, this is the name of the actual resource group. So whatever name I put here will be the name of my resource group. And then this is the location. So as you guys know that Azure has several data centers, and these are called locations, and we can specify the location we want to use. Now, now we've created a simple resource group. We can actually see this in actual action right now. So what we want to do from here is that we want to do we're going to add a bit more code, but just to try it out and see that it actually works, we will now do our Terraform init, etc. Right? So in order to spin this resource group up in actual Azure, we'll do I open up this thing, and I will go to this location. I will just copy the path from here. We'll do cd, and we'll go here, and then we'll check if you're correct there, and we see this here. And from here we'll do Terraform init. Uh, maybe there we, and then we'll just wait. There we go. After that, you see Terraform has been successfully initialized. You may now begin working with Terraform. Try running Terraform plan to see any changes that are required for your infrastructure. All Terraform commands should now work, blah, 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 blah. So we'll do Terraform plan. And so as you guys can see, I got some errors. And since it was quite some time I used this, I think it's just I have an old version. So the thing I will do is I will upgrade my Azure CLI with the command AZ upgrade, and we'll see from there. Okay, guys. So now that I have updated my CLI, I can now again run this command terraform dot plan, right? And it should output what will be created, right? So let's see. There we go. So Terraform use the selected providers, blah, 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 blah. Terraform will be performing the following actions. Here we go. So you will see, you see that now it actually works correctly, right? It was because I had an old version of Azure CLI installed. So after the update, it now works properly. And from here we can now apply these things. But first, I'll take a small break to eat. Okay, guys, let's continue. Now, sorry for that small break, but yeah, I had to eat food. From here, we've done a Terraform plan. Now, this is something you call a dry run, right? This will not actually create anything for you. This will only output what is about to be created. Now, if you actually want to create these stuff, you have to do Terraform apply, like so, press enter, okay, it wants a big Terraform apply like that. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Apply. Maybe I spelled it wrong for some reason. Terraform. Nice, good job. And after you do that, you will see Terraform will perform the following action, blah 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 blah, and it will give you this prompt again, like, are you sure you want to create these resources? And if you're sure, you just type yes, right? You can see only yes will be accepted to approve. So you have to type yes, enter value, yes, and from here the Terraform will create these values or these resources for you. So from here, I'm gonna go over to the portal to make sure that it was actually created. So I'm gonna pause the video here, and now you can see that apply completed. Resources 1 added, 0 changed, 0 destroyed. So technically now, if I go over to the portal, then I should be able to see this resource group, which I will do right now. And here you can see it actually created this resource group. Now this is an empty resource group. Here you see example resource, a resource group. So it did actually create this resource group for us. Now, uh, creating a resource group is all that, but let's say we wanted something more. Let's say we wanted to have an actual app service into this resource group. Well, the way we can do it is by doing the following. So we can go and Google Terraform Azure provider, like so, and then we'll get to this documentation. And I would say even the pros look at this documentation all the time, because it's quite impossible to remember all of these keywords and all of this documentation in your head. And maybe you're confused, like what resources do I actually need for a virtual machine? What resources do I need for an app service? Well, this documentation contains everything. So let's say you want to create a virtual machine, right? So you just search for virtual machine, and then you can go here and you will see, like, let's see here, virtual machines, resources. Here you go, Azure Linux virtual machines. You have different things. We'll just do this one, Azure virtual machine, and then you will have all the documentation, everything you need to actually create a virtual machine. And if you go down, you will also see what fields are required, right? You see these fields are required, these fields are optional, etc. So you could just copy paste this and go back to your thingamajiggy. So you can go here. So let's go here and we can do, let's just delete this for now, like so, and we'll do like that. You just copy paste everything into to the thingamajiggy, and maybe it's too small. Uh, Maybe not. No, I think it's quite good. Okay, so here we go. Now we have a virtual machine, right? So what it does, you see, it creates a resource group, and this time it's also using a variable. Now, a variable is something you can use in Terraform. Let's say you want to, name several things something similar, right? So now I can just do here, I will do potato, right? Now, so we have a variable here, and this is the prefix, and we call it potato. So this will call for this potato. So this will be potato dash resource. This will be potato network. This will be well, wherever you see this var prefix, it will go and get this variable for you. And from here you can see everything you need. You don't need all of this again. You should just look at the documentation to make sure what is needed, what is required. But it's a good way for you to understand what resources are needed to create a virtual machine, because a virtual machine itself is not enough, right? You need a virtual network, you need a network security group, you need an you need a public IP address if you want to be able to visit it, right? So from here, we can see that I think I have everything needed. And if I just save this file and I open up my terminal again like this, and I do Terraform plan, we're gonna see 1 second, boom, 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 and we can see all these things will be created, right? So you see 5 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy, and from here we'll do Terraform apply. I spell it wrong all the time. I'm sorry about that. Terraform apply like that. Again, the plan is just a dry run. It won't actually create anything for you. You have to do the Terraform apply in order for it to be created. And here again, if you're happy and satisfied with all of these things, you can just press yes from here. And now Terraform will go ahead and create these resources for you. I'm gonna give it a sec. So I can see that I have an error is because, well, our subscription in the organization I work for, we actually have some policies that we are using in order for our students to not use, well, use up too much of our credits. So we can see that this virtual machine standard DS the blah 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 is not accepted. So I have to change this VM size to something else, and I'm just going to head to the portal real fast to get these the another one. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to just we'll do virtual machine because I don't know in my head what these virtual machine SKUs are called, and we'll do here we go. Let's see. We'll do here we go. We'll change this to standard, and we'll do B2MS B2MS. Yeah, that should be enough. B2MS. Yeah, I think that's enough, and we'll do go ahead again and do our Terraform plan uh, just to make sure that all is up to date. There we go, refreshing the state. And we can do Terraform apply now. Now it should work. Terraform apply. Now, while this is going on, I'm just going to talk real fast about this. So, um, there are some different ways for a Terraform to actually talk to Azure, right? So what this is Azure. What RM stands for is Resource Manager, which is kind of Azure's API, right? And you can talk to this resource manager in different ways, right? You could use a service principal, but then you would need, the client ID, the password, etc. And I feel this is an unsafe way to use Terraform because some people accidentally upload this to GitHub, and well, that's not the best way to do it. So I like to authenticate with the Azure CLI, and that's why we don't have to add anything to this right here. And now we see this is finished. We can just press yes. So yeah, in some tutorials you will see there will be a service principal, etc. here and there. This is not the way I recommend you to do it. You can just authenticate with the CLI, which is in my opinion a safer way to do it. There we go. We see that the apply is now complete. And if we head over to Azure, we should be able to see our virtual machine within our resource group. I'm going to do that on my other screen. I'm just going to go here. I'll go to our subscription. I'll press resource groups. And what did we call this? So this resource group, it was called because I named this potato, right? You see my variable is called potato. And here we have potato dash resources, and here I have potato resources. And as you can see, we'll do like that. Boom. Here we have potato resources, and here we have our virtual machine finished. And that's it for this video, guys. This was a quick introductory to how to use Terraform together with Azure. I will provide more content about Terraform and other cool things you can do with it, like modules and stuff like that. But this was supposed to be a short introductory video. If you did like this video, please hit the like button and feel free to subscribe. I'm on my journey to become an Azure MVP. That's one of my highest goals. So, uh, if you want to help me on that journey, again, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys and have a good day. Bye bye.